Ալեքսի Աբական Երևան Երևան հուշացան հաղթության հայ յանքի հայ լեզվի բահաբան
Բարև ձեզ, հարգելի հասկացիներ, հայ ժողովրդի բարեկամներ, միևնույն ժամանակ YouTube-ի հաճախորդներ եւ ինչու՞ չէ Facebook-ի ընկերներ։ Այսօր հարցազրույց պիտի ունենանք այստեղ մեր սքանչելի դերասանին հետ։ Միևնույն ժամանակ միան դերասան չէ, մագ հասկանանք ինչեր կուզենել, բայց այսօր չպիտի խոսենք հայերեն գիտե, լավ գիտե հայերեն, բայց վրաց չունի, պիտի խոսենք քիչ օդար լեզուով։ Ոյսը մեր հետ են այսօր Ken Davitian-ը, գտեսնեք ինքն է, անցամբ եկել այստեղ։
Teresa Amusatsav, Persian Armenian girl, reads, writes, everything Armenian. Her father says to me, I says, Pogotkids, man, men gestak sorvelenk, Montebello, DPM, Kasantari eskide Chengele. Woven sie assets for Patrakaga. So,
I was a Miami Shem. Yes, 1969 եկա Կալիֆոռնիա առաջ բանեկազե Բոստոն 56-ին ես Ամերիկա եկա Կոլումբոսին այդ ամենուս եկա անժամանակ դիպիներ գսեին Մոնտեբելո աբրոները
displaced people.
Որ բادرազմեն դուրս եկածին փոխանակ վերաթար. Now we start changing our language instead of going back to Armenia or Russia. The Armenians, they were prisoner of wars.
Well, they were scared to go back because Stalin said, you come back, you go to prison.
That's it. They decided to come to America. They've been called displaced people.
But I thought Armenians made up that word. I thought Armenians made up DPs. But it's a United Nations term for people without a country.
Yeah, of course.
And they couldn't go back. My father didn't go back till 1963. And they went with 30 people on one of those junkets, Michael Minasyan.
Yes.
Junket. Okay. I'm sorry. He took a lot of duffels bags, okay? Duffel baggy Varen Geretzi, to hell with Moscow. Oh boy. Oh boy, Bolorin, Moscow image, they checked them out. 2 or 3 people, they actually searched their body. These 30 people came back, they wanted to kill me. My father wanted to kill me. He says, Hayasan hitch, Cheskanaita, de Azadvi. Means Beranunis, Kizi Sibir again. So I didn't go till 1991. And when I went, oh God, it was terrible. Terrible. And I've been there about 6-7 times. The last trip was a year and a half ago. It's beautiful. And I love the people. I love the revolution. I tell you, nobody knows, but a lot of people that were investing money and want to make Armenia better, they all stood frozen because one, revolution scared people, but it was good. The war, and that has to be resolved. Who's going to go to Armenia and spend $50 million and build something if Bagam Yusora, there's going to be another war?
Of course, so it was coming. That war was coming, and nobody knew. You know what happened when we got Karabakh? They start drinking.
We didn't. That's building. The thing. It's not legal. It's not with the United Nations.
I know. I said, people, you got to work for defense before you start drinking. What you said, each Armenian soldier is against 50. It's not that. It's going to see what's going to happen. Look, it's Israel and Palestinian. They're fighting, still they're fighting.
Yeah,
and they will continue fighting.
Equipment and they have drones. Yeah. And I was very upset that Israel was selling drones. Whoever I talked to in a position of strength said Armenia is in the wrong.
What?
So I don't know that you have to go to the United Nations and you have to fix that. But this election, I did an interview 4 weeks ago with a beautiful young Armenian girl. and I was wearing the Dukov hat. Dukov. I love the fact that they did this Velvet Revolution. She says, take it off. I said, what do you mean take it off? Oh, everybody hates him now. I said, you crazy.
Yeah.
Why? Because he gave the land back. Putin koch in the stilles, and he's saying, do this.
It's what was funny. I'm not politician. I don't care what happens. But that revolution, what happened, the guy walked from Gumri
Yeah.
all the way to Armenia. He collected all these thousands of people. He had this revolution. He got rid of the crooks. And everybody that time, oh, Nicole John, Sokis, everybody. I said, fine. They went to sleep. Next day, the morning, they get up. Tavajan, like traitor. I said, something wrong in the country. What you guys are talking about? Now, it's not that they're going to have another election, which they had it on the 28th.
Yes, and he won again.
Before the election was a group from Europe that they survey all these things. They go country to countries. They checked all with the Armenian people. They said, if today there's an election, Pashinyan going to win again by 70%, whatever. Nobody believed me. I said, listen, these people are experts. They talk to the houses. They go to the front here and there. I didn't say that he's going to win. I don't know who's going to win. For me, it doesn't make any difference. As long as Armenia is in good shape, who cares who wins?
No, it makes a big difference to people that want to invest and do business,
Of course.
big business.
Well,
The problem is, that, and I didn't even know this, I made my decision in my heart that if they elected him back, then that's it. I'm vacation over there. So no movies, no studio. Let Martani. If the country is that, if the people are that bad that they elected somebody who they know was already crook, and they're upset at Nicole because what did he do? What choice did he have? $7 billion? If he had the $7 billion, maybe he could have bought a gun. But, you know,
well, everybody has his own opinion.
people that I'm working with, not just movie, but Armenian communities and stuff, diaspora, the whisper was if they elect the old guy again,
Oh, I know.
forget
Well,
it.
it was hard to re-elect the guy. You know, I mean, he had such a bad record.
Reputation, yeah. How could you? But I heard he was giving people money. It's your money he's giving you.
Yeah. Well,
So-
he was trying to buy the work with that. But,
Yeah, what he thinks is America?
by the way, you know, we forgot to talk about you had a plan to build a studio in Armenia.
Yeah, I'm still working on it.
Yeah.
We met with the government six years ago, and the lady that they gave me to talk to was a lady named Hasmik. She's the commissioner of culture. Hedge inch. The concept is so. We did a lot of news. We worked. We got things bubbling. We came back a year later. Armen, he was the new cultural guy.
Yes.
Okay,
Armenian.
Armenian.
Yeah.
He came to Los Angeles. He got me and my partner Arsen and said, "One of you have to go back to be the first film commissioner." Okay, I can't go back. If for no other reason, I don't speak good Armenian. Not enough to. So, and he was born in Armenia. So he went there. We had a team of lawyers. We're doing all the paperwork. We're doing everything is going well. And they have a revolution. I tried to tell everybody, it's okay. But people, Gavachanan, what, revolution. Edik վերջացավ գնացի այնտեղ ամեն մարդու հանգստուցի Hovnanian Shant is our partner. The government gave us property and then there's a war. But the people don't want to go and shoot movies in Arab countries. It's just like they don't want to do that. But the Arab countries are spending billions of dollars to make wonderful studios, but they don't have our landscape. They don't have the church in a mountain. They don't have all of this stuff that nobody has ever seen. In a Game of Thrones, they were paying $800,000 a week to shoot there. And that money goes into the city. The people clean their clothes, they buy food, they need people to build sets. The way we had it done, we have a plan. It's the Parliament on July 26th last year, we're talking about the tax credits because they have to give some kind of tax credit. And then when I met with Hospic the first time, she says, I don't understand. We get the money and we give it back. No. You have to give back a percentage. Why? Why we get it? But Armin knew. And I think it's possible, but one of the things that's going to happen is that Karabakh thing has to be settled. You can't build a $50 million place and have a real plane attack it. So that's one thing. And I have a movie I wrote specifically to go to Armenia and do something. I've been there several times. I've done a lot of shorts and everything, but I wrote a movie called My Little Pistachio. It's about my granddaughter. My granddaughter and my wife want to go to Armenia to see where we grew up. But grandmother dies, and little girl steals daddy's Odar daddy. Her father's an Odar. Steals a credit card. We go to Armenia. We start spreading the ashes, and comedy ensues. I mean, I've got one priest. I haven't picked the people yet, but one priest, he won't talk to you about anything unless you get baptized in Sevan Ali, and it costs $20. I have a 104-year-old mother-in-law who hated my guts, and because I stole her daughter and went to America, and now I brought her back dead in a jar. So she got me arrested. And the whole thing is like there's no time because we got to go back for the 40 days. And my writer, who's American, says, come on, 40 days, you don't have to, you can have a dinner in Armenia. I said, no, go look, you'll see. If you don't have the 40 days, the soul stays on the earth. So you have to have that. I'm looking at the picture there. I went to his funeral. Adis Armenian. Great guy. What a guy. The 80s, man, the 80s and 70s.
Yeah.
You have no idea how awesome it was.
I'm going to go way back a little bit. Let's talk about Borat. You want to talk about it?
I don't care. Yeah. I'll talk about it. I don't. They offered me to do Borat 2. Yeah. Well, and I said no.
It's good. It's good that you didn't do it. It was flopped, the second one. The first one was very popular.
Yeah, $257 million.
I know.
You know how much I got? 60,000.
That's all?
That's it.
Wow.
I was just supposed to be in the ice cream truck, and they told me, maybe half your face will show. We just don't want to drive alone. And I said, how do I get into the movie? Director said, Shore Taki, come downstairs in character, 6 o'clock, get in the van. 3 days I did that. Nobody even talked to me. Then he says, Azamat. And then it started. And we had 650 hours of tape. Wow. You only saw an hour and a half. Wow. There's even a movie called The Making of Borat that the president of Fox told me, why don't you release it? I said, no, what are you talking about? You got to talk to Sasha. And he didn't release it. Hasn't released it. But he called. There was a lot of weird stuff. They didn't call my agent, nothing. They called me, and we've had a very shaky relationship. I've never talked to the man on the phone. I've never gone to his house. I've never met his children. He didn't even call when my wife passed away. So there is no friendship there. I thought there would be, because I thought we can be Abbott and Costello. We can do movies. But ego is too big. It's just
that happens in Hollywood all the time.
Yeah, but they don't not do it. Maybe they don't like each other, but they still do the job because of the money and because of the commitment to film. You don't have to like each other.
Yeah, well, anyway.
It's acting, but
And anyway, you were playing what, Kazakhstan, see, or what?
yeah, Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan. You know, I had a big debate about it when the film was out. It was popular, everything. There was a group of people that were criticizing you that he didn't have to play that part
Why?
because of you speak Armenian a little bit, whatever this.
I spoke Armenian throughout the whole thing,
Whatever the character you're playing, whatever.
and I got naked.
I try,
Okay.
naked, and also I try to explain what's acting, what's a part. Yes, you do it, you don't do it. It has nothing to do with nationality.
No, it's
And I didn't force.
commitment to the film.
Okay, I didn't force my idea to them. I didn't want to accept by force. I wanted to understand. And I had hard time for 2 hours from 10 to 12, 10 p.m. to 12. We had 24-hour TV then. I started explaining, people calling, explaining. It was lots of people that would agree with me. And it was lots of guys that said, no, wrong, you shouldn't do that.
I believe me, it took a lot of inner thing because at the time I didn't have two Taurus, two beautiful little girls, 5 years old and 3 years old, and they're growing up and they're going to be like their mother. I love that. They're already ladies. So they haven't even seen the movie. In fact, I only sat through the movie about a year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, because I had not seen it. Sure, you tell people we're naked, but everybody, including my wife, thought, okay, it's Fox. You know, they have the guy to cover it up and stuff. H-Bun covered Cherry, nothing. They just let it go.
Yeah, but that's not the point. The point is that as an actor, you have a part. You're going to play the part.
Yeah, you have to be committed. If you're not going to play if you're not going to do what the part says, no, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I thought we would end up in boxers, fat people in boxers. That's funny. No, Larry, the director says, I want naked. Okay, naked. And it worked. We went,
of course it
in Texas, we ran into a building with a bunch of engineers and they were having a convention. And I said to the stuff, nothing. We looked around. Sasha looked at me and said, let's go. And we walked out, no clothes, just walked out like we were businessmen. And we had to do it where there were ladies and children. And then after we did it, before the movie came out, some kid came to my sandwich shop. He says, I've seen you naked. I says, where? Oh, the movie. You saw the movie. No, I was there. My father's a broker. I was in the building. I says, okay, on sandwich at dark. So I gave him a free sandwich. But I was 55. You don't get breaks like that.
Of course.
My big break was going to be playing the Penguin in the film Batman, and they had drawings of me and everything, but they gave it to Danny DeVito because of the name. And then you wait, you do all this stuff. I mean, I did 120 different appearances. Doesn't include Sons of Sassoon, so that's 121 before. Everybody
that should
knew
be number one.
it was the first movie I got paid for.
Not because you're here. When we made that movie, I think 1978 or 80, whatever, I had a bunch of guys playing freedom fighters, and you were one.
I was the cook.
Yeah, you were the cook, and the guy asking, "What is this again? Pilav and whatever." Anyway, but it was so easy to work with you. I mean, you didn't have to have a direction.
Wait a minute. No, okay, direction I didn't need. But I said to you, hey, come here. It's 1915. She's wearing a bra and she's got nail polish. They don't have nail polish. And you know what you said? Ganategabnasti.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I should have
And
said
then
that.
I was never in any other of the Manuel films.
Yeah.
Because I know you got pissed off. And you know what?
No.
You were right.
No.
You were right. Because if somebody said that movie is bad because she's wearing nail polish, it's your reputation.
Yeah.
And if they say, oh, it was a great film, it's still your reputation. I thought it was a great film. I liked Manuel. I don't know why that stopped. Because he speaks English.
Yeah,
we
sure.
could have
I mean,
done...
We made 7 movies.
Yeah.
You know, like,
No, I was only in one. 6 movies, you were pissed off at me.
no, it is possible. So you didn't approach. Maybe you didn't come. You didn't ask for any part or something. It can't be because I never.
Excuse me, Hanu.
Well, no, there's not an excuse. Why it should be an excuse? It's done. It's gone. But
Lana Wood, Natalie Wood's sister.
yeah.
So, Amen Mart. But in my house, when I was 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, Digin Mamulyan would
Yes,
come.
I know. I work with her.
Yeah. And her husband, she was the first woman I ever saw wearing a jacket on her shoulders. And they took it off like that, you know. And when she'd come to the house, we'd have to stand in line. And it was a big, big deal. I had no idea that her son was
Rupen.
yeah.
Well,
And so I'm at the museum, Brian in Glendale. So I'm talking to some of the people. I said, so what's the entertainment thing going to look like? What are you doing? Well, we don't know. I said, do you know who Ruben Mamulyan is? No. I said, do you know who Mike Connors is? No. I said, okay, call me. Well, because it's got to be right, at least that part, because we have done a lot. The problem with Armenia is the system is from the Soviet system.
it is, yeah. Of
You
course.
come and you get your money, you go make a movie, and there shuts up. It doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to sell. You don't pay them back. It's,
And also, the script got to be approved.
yeah.
By the, they have to send it to Moscow because I had experience. We're going to make it. They said we're going to send the script to Moscow. They got to okay it. Then we can make a co-production. I was going to do it. Didn't work anyway. Then later on, when we were going to make the 40 Days of Musadar, that they couldn't do it here because of lots of technical problems
red tape.
and money, and MGM was going to make it. I wasn't in it at the beginning. My producer was in because I had
Who's
made
he?
movies. John Kurchan. But he wasn't a producer, just the name of course. He didn't know about movies. But he was involved, and he made a deal with MGM, $8 million, $4 million by MGM, $4 million by him. And they gave a 1-year time period to get the money.
What happened?
And they got a script writer from England wrote the script. MGM had the money, and this guy couldn't raise the money. And every year he was
They
renewing.
approached me, 2 guys.
Yeah.
I don't remember who they were. They approached me, and we had a meeting, and then we had another meeting. And I know because we were at this coffee place in Toluca Lake. They gave me the budget. They want to do 40 Days of Musada. They gave me the script. I read the script. They gave me the budget. And I said, wait a minute, who's this going to? I mean, $2 million for the producer, $3 million for the writer, $2 million for some. It came out to, I think it was $5 or $10 million that were going directly to them, just to their pocket.
Yeah.
Hey, well, we've been working on it for 15 years. I says, people, if you don't put skin in the game, nobody's going to do anything. They have to know that you believe it's going to be a successful film. What'd you think of Promise?
Well, I don't want to talk about it because 100 million was wasted. You know, movies, I know movies anyway. We know how to break it down. That time when they were making the movie, I said they should do it in Armenia. They didn't have to go Spain, here and there, spend the money. They can go to Armenia, the real people, the real land, They can build sets and everything. And with $10 million, they could have done a good job. Not $100 million.
First of all, Eric is a nice guy, but
I don't.
if I had a heart attack, I'd go see him. And I think, because I talked to Terry George. Terry George gave me and Arson a script that was fantastic. It was Solomon, the priest, and a couple, and how they went through the genocide, and they all got to Germany. And the last thing was the trial. So after this movie, I said, Terry, why didn't you do the other movie? It was a better script. And he didn't show any, like it didn't happen. Even the actor that played the main part, he says, they just ripped her stomach. They took the baby. It's got to be blood. And said, no. So a lot of it.
Genocide, yeah.
But when they asked me, and I said this, I think the movie didn't have an Armenian soul, because two priests meet. They speak in English. You should even television subtitles a little bit to make it authentic. But Terry George had a great script, and I don't know. That's what happened. But you can't get money now. Everybody to put money for 1915 or anything like that.
Well, anyway, I'll come back to this, but in the same time, he had auction to make the movie again one more time, because every year Kirchan was paying money for the rights.
Oh.
Then I said, listen, there is one way. Go to Armenia, make a deal co-production. I was given an advice because I wasn't involved in it. He went to Armenia. They sent him to Moscow as usual. He went to Moscow. They said, oh, it's a nice script. We like to have a co-production. But now this is not the time, because Russia was involved in Afghanistan. They had problem with America. When this problem is solved, you come back and we'll make it. And he didn't have time. It was one more year to do it. He came, says, Sarki, what we going to do? I said, listen, let's do a documentary with 16, 1 hour documentary. Some footage, some narration, some pictures here and there, and you get out of it. You have the rights. Later on, you raise the money, you make the movie.
Yeah.
To get out of the deal.
Did they do that?
We are sign. He speaks too much. He spoke all over. These people who had the rights of the book, they hear. No, we don't want documentary. It has to be 35 in color. It has to be 1.5 hour long, and so producers, whatever, they got to approve the movie after it's done. He kept
after it's done.
Yeah, like if they don't like it, it's no good.
Oh, that's it.
But anyway, I said, well, he said, I want you to get involved in it. I said, I'll try to help you, but this is a bad situation. No, we got to do it. Okay. So what we have, I have one guy who's put in $1 million, this and that, altogether $3 million. Look, from $8 million down to $3 million. Say, okay, let's do whatever we can. We got the cast, this and that. Friday we celebrated the crew, everything. Monday we're going to start shooting. Monday. Saturday morning he calls me. I have bad news. I said, what? He says, these guys, they pulled out with the money. They don't want to come in because the State Department told them this is not the time. They can't stop you, but they suggest this is not the time to make this movie later.
Yeah.
So, okay, what we're going to do? We had $1 million. I said, John, impossible. We called the production manager, sat down. We need 500 extras here. We have 100. We have this. We don't have it. We start cutting down. We cut it down to $1 million. Even the $1 million didn't have it. And on top of that, the Teamsters Union came in. They confiscated all the trucks, equipment, everything.
Who?
The Teamsters Union.
Oh.
To reshoot, because he had a contract. We didn't have a contract with the IA, this and that.
Wow.
Finally, fire
what a cluster.
on the hill with shooting. There's a big fire. They didn't let us go up for 1 week. That wasn't enough. 2 weeks later, big storm, all the tents flew.
So then you look up and say, okay, this.
I was going to give up. I said, I'm out. I don't want to continue. My wife says, look, whatever you started so far, you always finished. Please.
So did you finish it? Did you?
Yeah, we finished it. Okay, it's okay, play it and so forth. But, I'm going to tell you a funny story. We're shooting all the refugees coming up on the hill, all the villagers. Beautiful shot. I got the Chapman crane all the way up. I was going to shoot it. All of a sudden, something in me said, you have 2 other cameras. Why don't you use it? Okay, I put another spot, 3 cameras I'm shooting now. I don't know why. Luckily, we shot the scene, beautiful, like helicopter. We send the film to the lab. Before you send the film to the lab in the morning, they report. Next day morning, they call me, bad news. I said, what happened? Black, no picture. What happened? Because the camera was sent to the shop. They checked it. The shutter, they didn't put it back where it was. And this second assistant cameraman, the stupid guy, didn't check it. He puts the film without fixing the shutter. We shot 1,000 feet of film with the shutter doesn't work. Luckily, the other 2 cameras saved me.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Because people don't know that just for me to say, hey, where are you? It takes 250 people. You sit in your trailer, you got to remember, hey, how are you? But it's the director and the crew that gets everything done, and then you come, you go, hey, how are you? You go back and they start working. And I've always thanked the crew, because without the crew, we had trouble with the crew. They stopped working. They didn't have the money. Some other day when we get together, I'll tell you the whole story. Anyway, what else you have to? Well, I have that script. I need $2 million. 60% of the movie will be shot in Armenia.
Okay.
And I'm looking for a 10-year-old actress that speaks Armenian with no accent, speaks Armenian good, and speaks English, because she's supposed to be born here. That's going to be the hardest thing, is to find.
Well,
and I need somebody to play my wife. I sent a tape of me asking the Kardashians, read it. What would you like to do? Because in the actual package, we had put one of the Jenner girls as my son-in-law's brother's wife. But any one of the Kardashians can play my daughter. And I want the youth. The Armenian youth is the greatest thing in the world. Oh. They're the ones that block the streets. When I was their age, we got our marching orders from the ARF. Gnatsik. We went to the Turkish dinner in Beverly Hills. We all got arrested, but we were army men. These kids, they did it without anybody telling me. How can you block the freeway? I mean, don't you worry a little bit about your car? And then they blocked the streets. They got attention for the war, but nobody helped. Nobody. 47 days, nobody gave a hoot. Why? Because we're in the wrong.
Well,
okay.
Well, actually, when Turkey got involved, I knew it's going to be bad.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of the major powers of the world. It's not a joke, Turkey.
I don't think he's a major power. I think he's a major a-hole.
Well,
because he wants to be in NATO, but he's never done anything good. And I think he's turning the country into another Iran.
I know, but he worked against NATO. He attacked Cyprus. That was the NATO. NATO country attacked NATO country, and nobody said anything.
Nobody. Remember, Trump was America, America, America first. I don't care what happens. But we have our... We can't just stop. Cuba. They got to do so, but Biden not doing nothing. I would have already sent jets. I would have sent jets and hit military targets.
Well, all right.
Now, you were the first guy that hired me for an actual movie. I had done plays, I had done a couple of TV things through high school, but you were the first guy that gave me an actual job. So I always thank you for that.
That's okay. Thanks again. Thanks.
Of course, you didn't get me for the other 6 films, but that's all right.
Well, one is enough against the 6. Well, anyway, I thank you also for accepting the part and did a good job. Like whatever, I was happy what you did.
I watched that film many times in my youth because I had that big bear skin, and it was good. I was a lot fatter. I mean, I was already at that time 300 pounds.
Wow.
So, but it was a lot of fun, and it was educational.
I'm choking the Turks.
I told you about the I told you about the nail polish chair. Okay. That's okay. 16. Now they sent me, because you work to get to the level. They sent me a script, 4 movies, 3 people in the movies: Armand Desante, me, and Stephen Bauer. Stephen Bauer was in Scarface, and he was in Donovan. So we're going to be like the Rat Pack. We're singing and dancing. Me and Steve killed somebody in New York. We run away to London, where our friend has opened up a nightclub called Mr. Mayfair, and we start doing crooked things, and we steal somebody's money in Portugal and all that stuff. It was really a great experience. But when I got the script, they wanted me to play Ira, a Jewish guy. 4 movies. I said, no. She said, you don't want the part? I said, I want it Armenian. Make him Armen. And they made Armen. And in the movie, I'm looking for Armenian restaurant. It just makes you feel more secure, because we were probably 2 weeks into the movie, and the director says, okay, he wrote the script. He says, throw it away. Just do your thing. You were doing better than what I wrote. And when they gave us the sweaters to go home, it said, screw the script. Just dance. And I killed somebody with a hammer. I beat the heck out of him. There's blood coming all over. And then I go to the nightclub, and I'm not supposed to sing. I don't sing. Steve sings. Armand sings. Go, do something. Make it funny. So it was great. I was there June, July, August 2019. I came back for the holidays. My wife passed away. I stayed, and I went back in March to finish the 4th film, and Virus Skasvav. I was in London for 2 days. And that's it. So, and I'm still waiting for the movies to come out, because the movie is me. Like, I'm like this. There's no character, no, hello, what you doing? It's a mob movie. So I want it to come out. But I love the character thing. I've got an audition today for a movie. My manager got me an audition for one part. My agent got me an audition for another part in the same movie. So,
I hope you make it.
Listen. It's shot at the instant.
Well, what can you do? Yeah, you have to try. You gotta follow.
I went to it was in the 80s. I went to a casting call, and a co-star role. Probably 100 Samoans. Big. I went with my wife, and she says, what are you doing here? You're not going to get this part. That's what they're looking for. I got the part. They don't know what they're looking for. I got a taxi. I drove a taxi at a Taco Bell commercial, and I almost killed a dog. Long time ago. This is before Borat. And they're discussing. They have 2 people. Which one are we going to pick? The costume guy's Armenian. He said, all right, just pick the Armenian guy. And I got the job. So, and I got Borat because I was able to speak Armenian. And yeah, and so he spoke Hebrew, Heç իրար չհասկացան. Heç. Մենակ աչքերով բան, but we were in sync. We really were. And I thought that this is a possibility now. We're Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis. We're Laurel and Hardy. We found the tall guy. I'm the short, fat guy. But
Well,
that's life.
yeah, so some people sometimes
Yeah.
they miss the road.
I got another script written by the son of a lady who just died recently. But she was in the camp with her father, mother, and her brother. And she was 8 years old. And the story starts because he says, I just wrote what she said, and it's a script form. And I've told everybody in Armenia, in Montebello, you have a story, you have to write it. Some people gave me papers and papers like this. I'm not going to turn it into a script. This story was the first page. They're taking people out of their homes in Harbor City, Russia. They're shooting them in the street, and her father rips his pants off, says, I'm not a Jew, I'm not a Jew. The guy thought it was funny. He took the whole family to Auschwitz in the work camp. By the time that settled and they got raped, they got so much shit happened to them, finally the war is over. There's 3,000 Armenians in a work camp that don't know what to do, but they're Armenian. So now they're baking bread, they're sewing clothes. Instead of for the German army, they're doing it for people, and they're getting paid. And this is a true story. Roosevelt calls George Mardikian, who owns a restaurant, Omar Khayyam, and he says, go and see if there's enough food for everybody. It's not just Americans. Everybody's coming to Berlin. So he's driving with General Sarkisian, who's another American Armenian, and they see the Armenian flag. They go, so what is this? They said, we're here. We can't go back to Armenia. So we want to get back to America. They started having classes in English to learn to be citizen. It took 3 years for George Mardikian, with the help of Eleanor Roosevelt, and they got those people here. So the last thing was in the boat. They're near the Statue of Liberty, and the boat starts taking on water. That part is true. But I called Joey after I read the script. I said, Joey, all of this stuff is true. It's really, really, because it's too much. You can't think somebody is going to survive. It's already like, okay, Armenian and their exaggeration. He says, no. The only thing exaggerated was the shark, because the boats came, picked everybody up, and took them to land. We were only a mile away from Ellis Island, and I just thought, I said, no, take it out. His sister jumps in the water, father jumps, fights the shark. I said, what are you, Tarzan? So that was the only thing. Everything else, and when I was a kid, her name is Aunt Clara, and when I was a kid, we'd go over her house or we'd see her somewhere, whatever it was. And if we complained, if we said, hey, there's not enough water in here, she would say, tuk sharaparek, bombera. When they're bombing, that's when you have to worry, not because you don't have water. When they're bombing. And I had heard this all my life, and it was her that dictated the script. But that's going to be a $25 million. And it's a World War II, which is more acceptable. World War I and the Armenian genocide, I think
All right.
who knows?
Okay, Ken. Thanks for coming.
Oh, have we started?
We're gonna. This was a rehearsal.
Yeah.
I know. Now we're gonna do the real thing.
Okay, that sounds great to me.
But this is gonna part 1. We're gonna work on part 2. Right?
Listen,
All right.
there's going to be a part 2 and a part 3. I'm unemployed, and I don't have a wife, so I got a lot of time to do something.
Right.
But I have two wonderful grandchildren. I can't stop thinking about them.
Wow.
They're in school now. And it says, you know, merci is not Armenian. It is too. I said, no, it's not. It's French. Are you sure? And then I said, it's bots tunzi. Bobby, it's not bots. It's botsy. Yeah, I'm getting corrected by a 5-year-old. She talks better than me.
Well, the most difficult word in Armenian, shunaragalem.
Yeah. So they go merci. Oh, you know what I have a problem with? The church. I can't say yaregetsi. I don't know. It doesn't come out. Yeah.
Well,
But, you know, you need those because I do a lot of, already the community knows I ad lib. I make it my own. And if it's Armenian, it's even better because I can pull from the life experience.
okay, look. Thanks again, man.
Thanks for hiring me and starting my career.
Yes, of course. Once again, very
Yeah.
soon. Okay. Շնորհակալություն հարգելի դիտողներ, ցտեսություն միջև հաջորդ անգամ։
God bless you and God bless Armenia.